I was already 2 hours deep into the DMV line when she tapped my shoulder and said, "Central State?" That's where I went. I turned around, and there she was, bright-eyed, high ponytail, a takeout coffee in one hand and a stack of papers in the other. Her name was Kelly, and she was the kind of person who walked into a room like she'd been invited to headline it. "My name's Matt. I'm 28. I live in Richmond, Virginia." The sweatshirt I had on was old, worn, probably smelled like my garage, but it gave us a starting point. We stood there talking while the line crawled. She worked at a local animal rescue on Broad Street, one of those places with the emotional commercials and Instagram stories of puppies being saved. I listened while she talked about the animals like they were old friends. Something about the way she talked, fast, passionate, like every word had somewhere to be, it pulled me in. Quick note, before we start, how's your day going and where are you joining from? When I got called up, she handed me her number without hesitation. Said, "You seem quiet." I like quiet. I didn't know what to make of it, but I texted her that night anyway. That was the start. One coffee at a downtown cafe turned into a Saturday routine. Then Sundays, too. A few weeks later, we were full-on dating. She was warm, loud, always on the move, but somehow never overwhelming. I'd show up to see her, and there'd be two friends already there, drinks poured, music playing, dogs barking in the background. I liked it. Felt like stepping into something alive. After about a year, we signed a lease on a small apartment near the shelter where she worked. Nothing fancy, but it had charm. Exposed brick, loud pipes, the whole deal. I thought we were solid. She brought this kind of energy I didn't know I needed. People liked her. People loved her. She made everything feel like a celebration. Grocery runs, Tuesday dinners, rainy days. But every now and then, she'd get sharp. If I made plans without her, even something simple like poker with the guys, she'd go weirdly quiet. Or start texting nonstop asking when I was coming back. I figured it was just passion. She cared. No one's perfect. So I let it go. It started small, like when I told her I was going to poker night with the guys from work. Nothing wild, just beers, cards, and complaining about our bosses. She didn't say anything at first, just kind of smiled and said, "Okay, have fun." But that night, she didn't answer my texts. Next morning, she was cold, real quiet. Made breakfast like she was on autopilot. I asked, "You good?" She shrugged. "Just felt weird being alone last night. Guess I'm not used to it." That was her move, not outright accusing, just tossing a guilt grenade into the middle of the room and walking away. Another time, I told her I might do a weekend trip with my cousins down to the Outer Banks. She went still, then said, "I didn't realize you needed space from me." I blinked. "It's not about space. It's just a beach weekend. We do it every year." "Right? No, go. I'll just stay here with the dogs and figure out something to do." And like clockwork, I'd end up canceling. Every single time. She made me feel like I was choosing other people over her, like wanting my own time meant I didn't care enough. I tried bringing it up once, saying, "Babe, it kind of feels like you get upset anytime I make plans without you." She shot back, "Maybe I wouldn't if you acted like you actually wanted to spend time with me." "What are you talking about? I live with you. We're together all the time." "You don't get it. You just check out. It's like I'm the only one who cares." It always came back to me being cold, distant, selfish. I'd walk in thinking we were going to talk, and leave feeling like I owed her an apology. And then there was Zach. He'd been in her life forever, owned a landscaping business, drove a big black truck with his company logo on the side. She called him her ride or die. The first time I met him, he gave me one of those half handshake, half hug things and said, "So you're the guy who finally tamed her." I laughed, but something about the way he said it rubbed me wrong. She talked about him a lot. Like, a lot. If I forgot to pick something up from the store, she'd say, "Zach always remembers stuff like that. He's super thoughtful." Or if we argued, it was, "Zach says relationships only work if both people show up. Maybe you should talk to him." I started getting fed up. One night, after another one of her little Zach references, I finally asked, "Why do you bring him up so much? Seriously?" She blinked, caught off guard. "Because he's been there for me. Since forever." "Okay, but do you realize how it sounds? Like I'm being measured against him every time I screw up?" She crossed her arms. "Wow, so now I can't talk about my friends?" "I didn't say that. I'm saying it's starting to feel like there's a comparison going on. And it's not fair. You're insecure, Matt. Zach's like a brother to me. This is your issue, not mine. That shut the conversation down. Anytime I brought up something that made me uncomfortable, I ended up being the problem. She flipped everything around like a pro, like I was attacking her for no reason, just being paranoid. But it never stopped. The quiet punishments, the flipped arguments, the shadow of Zach always floating behind whatever mistake I'd made that week. I started noticing how much I adjusted my schedule just to avoid upsetting her. Skipped out on game nights, bailed on a cousin's birthday, even stopped mentioning when people invited me places. It was easier that way. Easier than dealing with the look she gave me. The look that said, "You're supposed to choose me." Every time. And somehow I always did. It was late October when I took her up to Skyline Drive, the same overlook we'd hit during our first fall together. Leaves were peeking, sunset lit up the trees like they were on fire. I waited until we were alone, dropped to one knee, and pulled the ring from my jacket. She gasped, hands to her face, then just started crying and nodding. Yes, yes, of course. I felt like I'd finally done something right. For a couple weeks, it was all joy. She showed the ring to everyone. At work, at the shelter, even the barista at the coffee shop. I got hugs from her friends. People congratulated us at the grocery store. We set a date for 10 months out. Summer wedding. Outdoor venue. It felt like we were building something together. But pretty quick, she went into full wedding war mode. "Do you like navy or charcoal for the groomsmen?" she asked, holding up color swatches. "I mean, either works." She cut me off. "No, you have to pick. You do care what they wear, right?" "I do, yeah. Navy's fine." "I knew it. You're not even into this." That's how it started. Every question had a trap door underneath it. Venue tours turned into her rolling her eyes every time I had an opinion. "You don't get the vibe I'm going for," she'd say. "Cake tasting?" I said I didn't love the lemon raspberry. She stared at me like I'd insulted her mother. "You seriously don't like it?" "That was my top choice." "Okay, then go with it." "No, I want us to pick it. Together." "Babe, I'm telling you what I think. You don't have to agree." "Well, now I don't even want it anymore." The whole thing turned into a test I couldn't pass. I started zoning out during her planning monologues. Colors, florals, seating charts. It became background noise. The only time she'd pause was to ask, "Are you even listening?" If I said yes, she'd quiz me on what she just said. If I admitted no, she'd sulk and say, "Figures. You don't even care." Once, I asked if we could hold off on the engagement photos until the spring. Her face dropped like I'd smacked her. "Wow, you're embarrassed to be seen with me now?" "What?" "No, I just thought." "No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out myself." That became her fallback line. "I'll just do it myself." And she did. Dress fittings, DJ meetings, tasting sessions. She told people we were planning it together, but I was just a name on a list. I tried staying engaged. I really did. But everything felt like a trap. If I acted excited, she'd say I was faking it. If I kept quiet, I was being cold. One night, I told her, "I feel like I'm just along for the ride. Like this isn't our wedding, it's yours." She turned, arms folded. "You think I want to do everything alone? I ask you to help, and you never step up." "I step up. You just don't like my answers." "You're unbelievable." Then she walked out and slammed the door. I sat there on the couch, staring at our wedding binder on the coffee table, still open to the guest list, half crossed out, half question marks. It didn't feel like a celebration anymore. It felt like I'd signed up for something I had no control over. Couple nights after that fight, she came home grinning like she'd won the lottery. "Guess what?" she said, dropping her bag by the door. "Zach invited me to that beach wedding in Key Largo. Remember Claire? From college?" I nodded slowly. "Yeah, I remember you mentioning it." "Well, it's in 3 weeks. He booked a suite with 2 bedrooms. Said I should come." She was already pulling out her laptop, typing in flight searches. Humming. Smiling at the screen like she was reading a love letter. I leaned on the counter. "Wait, you'd be going with Zach? Just you two?" "It's his college crew. I know them all. And Claire's like family. Come on, it'll be fun." My stomach sank. "Kelly, we're getting married in a few months. You're telling me you're going to fly off to a beach resort with another man for 4 days?" She didn't even flinch. "He's my friend. You know that. Why are you acting like it's some big scandal?" "Because it feels wrong. You're sharing a suite with him. It has 2 bedrooms. That's not the point." She stood up, arms crossed, that edge already creeping into her voice. "So now I need your permission to go to a friend's wedding?" No, I'm saying it's weird. What do you think people are going to assume? I don't live my life based on what people assume. You sound insecure. That hit me hard. I paused, tried to stay calm. You'd lose your mind if I went to a beach wedding with a female friend and shared a room, 2 bedrooms, or not. Don't even. You've gone fishing with your female coworkers and stayed overnight. I never said a word. That's not even close, and you know it. It's the exact same thing. You just want to control me. That's what this is really about. I stared at her. I'm trying to set boundaries. There's a difference. Well, I'm going. Period. That was it. Conversation over. She walked away like it was already decided. The next few days were tense. She acted normal on the surface, feeding the dogs, talking about wedding RSVPs, but every word was clipped. Cold. Like I disappointed her. Like I was the one putting the whole marriage at risk. She shopped for dresses obsessively, tried them on in front of the mirror like she was going to prom. What do you think of this one? She asked once, holding up a tight blue number with a low back. I didn't answer. I couldn't. She looked at me through the mirror. Right. Don't care. Got it. That weekend, she packed early. I saw her curling her hair in the hallway mirror, smiling at her phone. Probably texting him. You really going through with this? I asked quietly. She didn't look at me. I already told you. Okay, then go. I will. I stood there as she zipped her bag shut. The sound felt final. Then, Sunday night, she stopped talking to me altogether. No updates. No pictures. Nothing. I knew the silence was on purpose. Friday morning, I watched from the living room window as Zach pulled up in his lifted truck. She came out dragging her suitcase, hair done, makeup perfect, heels clicking like she was walking into a movie scene. He got out, grinned, and took her bag without saying a word. She didn't look back once. I stood there like an idiot, blinds halfway open, heart pounding, hoping for, I don't even know, something human, some hesitation. Nothing. That whole weekend, she barely texted. Just cold little check-ins like she was updating a coworker. Friday, 8:12 p.m., made it. Long flight. Saturday, 10:03 a.m. Rehearsal brunch was cute. Hope the dogs are good. Sunday, 1:40 p.m., ceremony later. Wearing the blue dress. That was it. Not a single miss you. Not a single call. Then Sunday night, it happened. I was sitting on the couch scrolling my feed. Couldn't sleep, couldn't think, when I saw her post. It was a full-body shot of her standing near a palm tree, wearing that skin-tight blue dress, drink in hand, smirking like she just got everything she ever wanted. The caption? No man owns me. #freedom. And the comments? You go, girl. Proud of you for getting out. Never let a man control your life again. Queen behavior. It hit me like a punch to the throat. They weren't cheering her on for looking good at a wedding. They were cheering her on for escaping someone. Me. She hadn't even ended things. Hadn't said a word about breaking up. But there she was, posting like she was finally free from some toxic ex, and playing the part perfectly. I sat there staring at my phone, hand clenched so tight, I almost cracked the screen. That post wasn't spontaneous. That was a setup. She'd been building this version of events for weeks, maybe longer. The guilt trips, the accusations, the cold shoulder. I saw it all click into place. She wasn't just going to leave. She was going to paint me as the villain on her way out. And I wasn't giving her a stage to do it. I started with the venue. Called the manager, told her the wedding was canceled, no reschedule. She paused, then quietly said, understood. Next, the caterer. Then the DJ. Then the photographer. I called my mom first. She didn't ask questions. Just said, I had a feeling. My brother texted, you sure? I replied, yeah, I'm done. Then I called Kelly's parents. Her dad answered. Hey, just giving you a heads up, I said. The wedding's off. It's not working. Long pause. All right, he said. We'll let the family know. No yelling. No surprise. Just resignation. That told me everything. I spent the rest of the night canceling hotel blocks, refunding gifts, deleting the wedding site. By the time I shut my laptop, the only thing left was her. And she didn't even know it yet. First thing Monday morning, I grabbed boxes from the garage and started packing. Her clothes, her makeup, the jewelry tree by the mirror. I even wrapped the mug she liked in old t-shirts so nothing would break. Took down the engagement photo from the hallway, slid it into one of the boxes face down. Her stuff took up more space than I expected. 3 boxes for clothes, 1 for shoes, 2 just for random decor crap she brought in over the last year. By noon, Everything she owned was stacked by the front door. I changed the locks right after. Then I opened my phone and made it official. Relationship status, single. Sent a text to the group chat with my buddies. Wedding's off. Ask me whatever you want, but it's over. Then I messaged her parents again. Her stuff is packed and ready. I won't be here tomorrow. Let her know she can pick it up anytime after Tuesday. By the time she landed back in Richmond that night, the fire had already spread. She must have seen the post first. Then the text from friends. Probably some calls from family too. That's when the phone call started. Missed call. Missed call. Voicemail. Matt, what is going on? Call me back now. 10 minutes later. Are you seriously doing this? You didn't even wait until I got home? Half an hour after that. You're blowing everything up over nothing. You're sick. I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb and left it on the kitchen table. Around 9 that night, I heard knocking, then pounding. I looked through the peephole. She was out there in leggings and a hoodie, hair tied up, standing next to her suitcase like she'd never left. She yelled my name, knocked again, then just sat down on the front step with her arms crossed. I left her there. 3 hours passed. By midnight, I parked a couple blocks down and walked home from the back alley. She was still there, half asleep on the stoop, arms tucked into her sleeves. When I stepped into the light, she stood up fast. What the hell is wrong with you? She snapped. You think this is how adults handle things? I'm not doing this with you, I said. You humiliated me. You made me look like some kind of joke. You did that all on your own. Oh, screw you. That post wasn't even about you. Everyone thought it was. Go read your comments. I'm allowed to go to a wedding. I'm allowed to have friends. And I'm allowed to be done. She stared at me, breathing hard. You overreacted. You're ruining everything over a caption. No. I'm ending it because you've been pushing this thing off a cliff for months. You're not even letting me in to talk. Because there's nothing left to say. She looked around, saw the boxes by the door. Her face twisted. You're unbelievable. This is my home. No, it's not. The lease is in my name. I already talked to the landlord. You changed the locks? You seriously locked me out? You left, I said. Now you're not coming back. She stood there frozen. Then, without saying a word, she pulled out her phone. 2 minutes later, a cop cruiser pulled up. An officer got out, walked over, asked what was going on. She launched into it, loud, fast, hands waving. He's locking me out. He's throwing away my things. I live here. I stood calm, arms crossed. I can show you the lease. It's in my name only. The cop turned to me. Do you have it on you? I pulled it up on my phone, handed it over. He read it, nodded, then looked back at her. Ma'am, he's legally allowed to do this. You'll need to make arrangements to collect your belongings. He doesn't have to let you stay here. Her jaw dropped. Are you serious? He shrugged. It's the law. She looked at me one more time, eyes wide, lip curled like she didn't recognize the person standing in front of her. Then she stormed off toward the curb and sat down on her suitcase. I walked back inside and locked the door behind me. The morning after the cops left, I woke up to over 30 notifications on my phone. She'd posted a long, dramatic caption with a black and white photo of herself crying, or pretending to, anyway. Said she'd just gone through the scariest night of her life. Accused me of locking her out, manipulating her, controlling her finances, isolating her from friends and family. She wrote, when you finally see the truth, it shatters you. But silence protects no one. I sat up in bed, heart racing, mouth dry. Comments were already pouring in. You're so brave. Been there, girl. Stay strong. Men like that don't change. Document everything. I didn't even recognize half the people in her comments, but they acted like they knew me personally. My phone buzzed again. A text from James, a guy I played softball with. Bro, what is going on? Should I be worried? Then another one from Leah, a mutual friend. I didn't know things were that bad between you two. This is messy. I didn't reply. Part of me still believed this would blow over. That people would calm down once they realized how one-sided the story was. But it didn't calm down. That post turned into another, and another. Long paragraphs filled with vague accusations, gaslighting, power imbalance, walking on eggshells. She never used my name, but everyone knew. She was tagging mutual friends. She even dragged my job into it. Said I used my position to make her feel dependent. Which made no sense. She'd never even been in my office. At work, people stopped making eye contact. Meetings felt colder. Two co-workers I used to eat lunch with bailed without saying anything. One afternoon, my boss pulled me aside. "Everything all right at home?" he asked. I just nodded. "Personal stuff. Getting handled." He nodded back, but the damage was already done. I didn't post anything. Didn't respond. Didn't argue. I thought staying quiet would show I was the mature one. Instead, it made me look guilty. She took my silence and ran with it. Said I was trying to bury the truth and counting on people forgetting. More people messaged me. Some supportive, some just nosy. A few of her friends, the ones I used to grab drinks with, straight up blocked me. Then she started mentioning them in her posts, dragging friends into the mess like they were part of some abusive conspiracy. I always thought certain people had my back. Turns out, they were enabling him the whole time. I saw Jeremy, one of our old mutuals, comment under that one. Didn't realize how blind I was. Never again. I'd played poker with the guy for 2 years. He came to our New Year's party. And now, just like that, I was the villain. One night, I texted him, "You serious right now?" No reply. Just read. She was playing chess while I was standing still. And somehow, even knowing it was all *T, part of me still questioned it. Was I too controlling? Was I too distant? Did I miss something? That's what she was good at, planting doubt, even when I knew the facts. I started saving screenshots, backing up messages. Not because I wanted revenge, because I could feel something bigger coming. I waited longer than I should have. Tried to hold out, tried to ignore it. But after a client pulled a meeting without explanation and a recruiter I'd been talking to ghosted me mid-process, I knew I had to say something. So I messaged her directly. No threats. No emotion. Just facts. "Kelly, your posts are affecting my job, my reputation, and my mental health. I'm asking you to stop. I don't want to take legal action, but I will if this keeps going." She didn't reply. She posted it instead. Cropped my name out, slapped a red background behind the text, and captioned it. "This is what trying to silence looks like. This is what abusers do." And the comments came in hot. "This makes me sick. He's still trying to control you. Take screenshots. Lawyer up." Then she followed it with a whole new wave of garbage. Said I cut her off financially when we lived together, which made 0 sense, since we split everything 50-50 and she still had her job. Claimed I threatened her when she tried to leave, even though she was the one who left for a beach trip with another guy and came back shocked that her key didn't work. She even posted an old Venmo screenshot of me sending her $200 and captioned it. Proof he made me dependent on him. That was the last straw. I called a lawyer that afternoon, told him everything, showed him screenshots, posts, texts, sent over witness names, co-workers, friends, even my brother. He read through it all and said, "We've got a defamation case and cyberbullying. Strong one." We drafted a cease and desist and sent it within 48 hours. 3 days later, she posted that too, this time with a long rant underneath. Here's what they do when the lies don't stick. Threaten. Intimidate. Hide behind lawyers and money. I won't be silenced. I was expecting the drama. I wasn't expecting the GoFundMe. It went live the next day. Fighting legal abuse. Help me defend myself. She put a photo of herself at a park with a puppy on her lap and a tearful smile, like she was holding it together through a war. The story she wrote underneath was fiction from top to bottom, made it sound like I was rich, connected, and trying to destroy her life because she spoke her truth. People started donating, commenting, sharing. I was in the same situation. Stay strong. You're so brave to stand up to someone with that kind of power. Donated. Wish I could give more. One woman even messaged me and said, "How do you sleep at night knowing you ruined her?" I didn't reply. I just added it to the folder my lawyer kept open. But I wasn't calm. I wasn't above it. I was boiling. She didn't just twist the truth. She built a brand off of it. Every day, she posted some new reflection about healing, survival, navigating toxic patterns. Nothing that could get her sued faster, but enough to keep the narrative alive. The worst part? I knew how good she was at this. She was charming, passionate, had the rescue dog angle, the girl next door smile. People wanted to believe her. But I wasn't rolling over. This wasn't about getting back at her. This was about stopping the bleeding, protecting what I had left. My lawyer filed the paperwork. Full suit for defamation, cyber harassment, and emotional distress. He looked at me across the table and said, "You ready for her to try and burn it all down?" I nodded. She already started. I'm just putting up the fire lines. She got a lawyer, Some loud guy with a messy desk and a Bluetooth headset glued to his ear. I saw his name in the filings and Googled him. A few Yelp reviews called him aggressive, but most just said cheap. Didn't matter. Once we hit discovery, it was over. My lawyer dropped everything on the table. Printouts of her posts, messages from friends she dragged into it, even old texts between us that showed her contradicting her own timeline. There was no pattern of control, no financial abuse, nothing remotely close to her claims. We had witness statements from co-workers, my brother, even her old roommate who said, Kelly always knew how to play the victim when it got her what she wanted. Her team tried to delay things, file motions, push court dates. All stall tactics. Then, once the deposition started and she realized the narrative wasn't sticking, she had her lawyer send over a settlement offer. He emailed, let's resolve this quietly. No fault. Mutual gag order. I told my lawyer, no deal. I want it public. Retraction. Apology. Everything. He nodded. Then we take it to trial. It lasted 3 days. Day 1, we went through the timeline. My lawyer walked the court through every major post, showed how her claims didn't match her own screenshots. You could feel the energy shift in the room. She sat there trying to look composed, makeup on point, hair curled, but she wouldn't make eye contact with anyone. Day 2, they tried to paint me as a bitter ex out for revenge. Said I was trying to punish her for leaving. My lawyer calmly pulled up her #freedom post, the beach trip photos, the GoFundMe donations. Then played voicemails where she screamed at me for ending the relationship. Does this sound like someone who left on her own terms? He asked. The judge didn't blink. Then came the cross-exam. Her answers were all over the place. She contradicted herself twice in under 10 minutes. At one point, she even said she couldn't remember writing the post that started the whole thing. My lawyer slid the printout toward her. It's still live on your account as of this morning. She flinched. I meant I don't remember the exact context. The judge leaned forward. You don't remember accusing someone of financial abuse in a public forum? She mumbled something about trauma response. It didn't land. By day 3, it was clear she was out of ammo. She cried once on the stand, loud and forced, like she thought it would sway the judge, but it felt staged. When the verdict came down, it was blunt and clean. The judge ruled in my favor. $35,000 in damages. All defamatory posts to be removed within 72 hours. Public apology required on the same platforms where the claims were made. She sat frozen in her seat, like someone unplugged her. Her lawyer leaned in, whispered something, and she just shook her head. After court adjourned, she stormed out the back without saying a word. Didn't look at me once. 3 days later, the apology post went up. 1 paragraph. Cold, robotic. As ordered by the court, I am retracting previous statements made about Matt W. regarding our past relationship. These statements were false and do not reflect the truth. She left the comments off. An hour later, she posted again, this time with a picture of her walking alone down a sidewalk and the caption, when the system protects abusers, we survive anyway. Still no names. Still playing the part. She never admitted she lied. Never owned a single word. But it was done. I had the ruling, the retraction, the money. More than that, I had my life back. After that final post, she went quiet online. Deleted the GoFundMe, locked down her profile, scrubbed whatever was left of the courtroom fallout. I didn't chase it. Didn't check her page, didn't ask around. Truth is, I didn't care anymore. Looking back, yeah, there were signs. I just didn't want to see them. The way she spun every disagreement into an attack. How every time I pushed back, I ended up apologizing. She didn't want a partner. She wanted control, someone she could shape, manage, and parade around like her life was perfect. The second I stopped playing along, she flipped the story and cast herself as the wounded hero. And people ate it up. That lawsuit wasn't revenge. It was self-defense. It was me drawing a line between my life and the version she built online. A version where she was the brave survivor and I was some monster in a hoodie. I still get people asking if I regret it. Filing the lawsuit. Going public. Spending money to fight someone who clearly wasn't worth it. But no, I don't regret a damn thing. I got my name back. I got peace. I don't miss her. I miss the idea of her. The girl who tapped me on the shoulder at the DMV and smiled like we already knew each other. The one who made everything feel easy in the beginning. But that person wasn't real. That was just the sales pitch. What came after was the fine print. She's probably out there somewhere with a new audience, New story, new villain. And maybe the next guy sees the signs earlier. Maybe he asks more questions. Maybe he doesn't fall for the glow and the energy and the way she makes every room feel like it was built just for her. Or maybe he learns the hard way, like I did. All I know is, I'm done being anyone's cautionary tale. I'm just moving on.